The County of Vermilion River wants your input on the Municipal Development Plan and Land Use Bylaw. Your input will inform changes as the county updates its Municipal Development Plan and Land Use Bylaw over the coming months. Part of this process includes gathering public input in a variety of ways. Today, we invite you to share your perspectives through an online survey on how we can improve the county's MDP and LUB. What is a Municipal Development Plan and a Land Use Bylaw? Every municipality in Alberta is required by provincial legislation to adopt both a Municipal Development Plan and a Land Use Bylaw. The MDP is the long-range plan to guide decisions about land use. It establishes a vision for land management and development and identifies a high-level direction for land through mapping and policy statements. The Land Use Bylaw, or LUB, is the regulatory document that establishes specific rules for what you can and can't do on a piece of land. Sometimes referred to as zoning bylaws, the LUB divides the municipality into different land use districts, or sometimes called zones, and lists what types of developments are permitted or may be allowed with certain conditions, or are prohibited to avoid conflicts with other types of development. The LUB also establishes the decision-making process for approving subdivision and development applications. Together, the MDP and LUB provide the future direction and the day-to-day rules to manage development and land use in a responsible manner. Why is the county updating the MDP and LUB now? Well, municipalities regularly update their planning documents to ensure the direction and regulations are consistent with provincial legislation, properly address development trends, align with strategic priorities, and consider up-to-date environmental and demographic information. This usually happens every 5 to 10 years. The County of Vermilion River's MDP and LUB were last updated in 2019. Since then, Council and Administration have recognized that since the inception of the documents, there have been a few milestones that require a review of these documents. Along with these milestones, the technical level of the current documents has proven to be cumbersome to most landowners and developers. The current update is intended to better align with current development trends and to be more user-friendly for all those who use the documents. County residents have an important part to play in the process of updating the MDP and the LUB. Your input helps to inform policy direction, identifying priorities and issues of concern to those who live in the county, keeping us on the right track moving forward. The county will use a number of methods to get your input. An initial survey was already shared through the county's social media and website, and a recent focus group workshop was held in late January to understand how people were using the MDP and LUB, and what they would like to see changed. Now it's your turn to provide that input. We invite you to fill out the survey linked on the county website to do that. We want to know, how are you using the MDP and the LUB now? What's working well? What needs improvement? What's missing from these documents? We also want to understand what land use and development issues you think are important. Questions like, what development opportunities do you see in the county? What challenges do you see? What can the county do to best respond to these challenges? There are a number of development issues that the county has identified based on questions and concerns raised by residents since the last planning documents were approved. These issues include alternative energy developments, such as solar and wind energy facilities, cannabis growing facilities, hobby farms, and small farm operations in the agricultural areas, subdivision pressures, and protecting wetlands. We want to understand what issues are important to you, though, as well. What does the county need to know about these issues? What controls or regulations are needed to address these development issues? What controls or regulations are currently causing problems that we should rethink or maybe even remove entirely? The information gathered through the online survey will be reviewed by the county's project team, and the feedback will be used as we begin drafting new MDP and LUB documents. A summary of all the feedback we receive will be shared back to the public on the county website in the spring so you can see what we heard from the public engagement. Following that, draft versions of the MDP and LUB will be circulated through the county website and on social media later this summer. The public will be invited to read, understand, and share their thoughts on the draft documents through public engagement and online surveys later in the summer and into the fall. Please watch the county's website and social media for updates when these events are scheduled. On behalf of the County of Vermilion River, we thank you for your interest in the MDP and LUB project. We look forward to hearing from you through the online survey and at later public engagement events.